All right, guys. So I'm kind of working with what I had. So here is your second set of notes for the week. Again, I highly suggest doing these like maybe Thursday morning. But I want to get it all to you as soon as I can so that when you have the time, you can do it. Okay. I just want to remind you, I miss you guys so much. And I hate working in front of a computer. I miss human beings, especially all of my little human beings in all my little classes. So anyways, we're going to look at rentals and condos for this set of notes. I do have a little warm up for you guys. And so it says, sorry, let me find my marker again. Here we go. I'm going to do blue. I'm kind of tired of red. So I'm going to do blue. What is the area of a semicircle? So that, my lovely human beings, is a half of a circle, right? So meaning like this, half of a circle, with a radius of 3 meters. So use area equals pi r squared, but we don't have a whole circle, right? We got half a circle. Okay, so make sure you do that. And then if a carpet for the semicircle costs $12 per square meter, how much will you spend to carpet it? So remember, whenever you're doing costs, you take your area and you just multiply it by the cost. Okay, so make sure you do those, pause, do them, get those answers in. Okay, all right, so rentals and condos. Our EQ, what bills and taxes are paid on rental homes? A lot of people rent, right? So if you don't own a home, you probably either rent an apartment or rent a house or rent a room. Lots of different rental options. And then condos, I know we have a bunch of those in Montclair. So you might live in some condos. And so there are sometimes some fees associated with just specifically condos. Okay, so let's get into it. All right. If you need to pause and write down this stuff, or you can use our awesome skills of like writing down the important information and stuff like that. Okay, so up here, how are percents used? Bert paid a monthly condominium maintenance fee of $912. 15% of the fee, okay, so we've done this like a lot since the beginning of the year, right? 15% of the fee covered his monthly property taxes. How much did Bert pay last year in property taxes on his condo? Okay, the other thing I didn't underline here was that it was a monthly fee. And then I want to know how much he paid all of last year. Okay, so we'll break this problem up. So 15%, we know we move the decimal, right? It's right here. We move it over 1, 2 places, and so we get 0.15. And then it's 15% of the monthly fee. Of means multiply. Okay, so when you take 912 times the 0.15, you get $136. That's a dollar sign. Sorry, it's ugly. $136.80. Okay, now that was 15% of the monthly fee, right? So this is how much he pays every month for the property taxes, but we want for the whole year. Okay, so how many months are in a year? 12. Good. I know you guys all answered that out loud because that's what we do in class, you know. So you take the monthly fee, or excuse me, the monthly percentage, multiply by 12 because there are 12 months in a year. Okay, and that equals $16.41.60. So for the year, he paid $1,641.60 for the entire year. Okay, so that's how we would do that problem. Okay, next up, we have a co-op. Okay, so the Seaford Cove Cooperative, which we're going to abbreviate to co-op, okay, is owned by shareholders. That means that multiple people own parts of it. Okay, so the co-op has 50,000 shares of the cooperative. What percentage of Seaford Cove does Janet own if she has 550 shares? Okay, so there are a total of 50,000 shares, and we want to know what percentage Janet owns if she has 550 shares. So when we do percentages, we are taking the part and dividing it by the whole. So in this case, Janet owns part of it, and the whole is the 50,000. So Janet owns 550, that's her part, out of the total 50,000. When you divide those in your calculator, you get 0.011, but it asks what percentage, so we make sure we move the decimal over 2 places to the right and then write it as a percent. Okay, so our final answer would say Janet owns 1.1% of the Seaford Cove Cooperative or co-op. Okay, so percentages. Write this stuff down. Remember, just if you need to, pause and then resume after you've written stuff. Make sure you're asking me questions or writing questions down as you go. Whatever you need, okay? All right. This one. How many of you guys live in an apartment? Okay, so I used to live in an apartment in Rancho, and one of the reasons I actually moved back was because when you sign a lease, your rent is gonna stay at that same rate the whole time through your lease. And then once you like re-sign a lease, most of the time they increase your rent because the cost of living went up and all this other stuff. And so there's actually like this formula where that calculates the rate that rent increases. So yeah, that's actually why I ended up moving from that place. It was beautiful. I love my little apartment. But I moved because the rent increase was just, it was too much. I was like, I don't want to pay that much for a 1-bedroom apartment. And I don't want to pay that much for a 1-bedroom apartment where my money's just going to this apartment complex, right? I'm not getting a house out of it. So those are my life choices. But anyways, so this is how it goes. Okay. A yearly rent increase can be modeled using the exponential function. So it's exponential because it has this stuff in the exponent. Okay, it's got this variable in the exponent. So this will be for the whole year. If you wanted to know just for a month, you would just not put that 12. Okay, so yearly rent, put the 12. If you want it to just be the monthly, then don't put the 12. Okay, maybe write that off to the side or something. So R is going to stand for our yearly rent. A is for the initial because it's going to go up, right? We're looking at how rent increases over time. So A is the original amount of rent. B is going to be your rate of increase. We're used to that being an R. Okay, so you can look at this as an R. And then in the exponent, you're going to go D minus 1. And D is the number of years. And then we're used to that being a T. Okay, so we've done something like this super similar, but T can be like our time and then R for the rate. Okay, so again, pause that, write it out, all that good stuff. Okay, so Gary's apartment currently costs him $800 a month. Oops, I don't know what happened right there, sorry. So Gary's apartment currently costs him $800 a month, and the rent increases to 2% each year. How much will it cost the second year he lives in it? Okay, so we have our formula. The year's rent will equal 12 times the initial payment, so that monthly payment, times 1 plus my rate as a decimal to the, put some parentheses there for you. You're going to take the number of years minus 1. Okay, so how much is it in the second year? So we plug in our info. The initial amount of rent was $800. The rate was 2%, so we move the decimal 1, 2, and we get 0.02, right? So that's 0.02. And then since I'm looking for the second year that he lives there, that's why we put a 2 up into that exponent. Okay, we can plug this into our calculator, and we would get over the whole year, the second year that he's living there, he would pay $9,792 in rent for that whole year. Okay, that second year that he lives there. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. And then if we want to know for his monthly rate, sorry, I forgot about this part, we would take that value, divide it by 12 to know how much he would pay per month. So in that second year, he would be paying $816 each month for living in it. And again, remember I told you could get that same thing by just not putting that 12 in the original part, right? Like if I multiplied by 12 to get rid of that, dividing by 12. Okay, so you can see that each month his rent went up $16 every month. Okay, so 800 to 816 is the new rent. Okay, so now you try. I want you guys to do the same thing. Gary's apartment, so it currently costs him $800 a year. Or sign me up for that place, right? $800 a year. That sounds amazing. Sorry, $800 a month. Shoot, even that is great. Rent is so expensive. Anyways, the rent increases 2% each year. How much will it cost this time? The 5th year he lives in it. Okay, so you're gonna start with that equation, and I want you to try it. Pause so you can try it on your own. And then when you're done pausing, I'm gonna go through and you'll see what the answer is. Okay. Okay, so here's our answer. We plug in the 800, the 0.02 again. This time we're plugging in the 5 minus 1. Sorry, that's supposed to be a parentheses around it. And so for the whole year, in year 5, he would pay $10,391.35. And then if I wanted to know how much that is each month, I would divide it by 12. And so Gary pays $866 a month in the 5th year that he's living in that apartment. Okay, because the rent was going up 2% each year. Okay. All right, so your practice is actually 2 slides worth. Okay. I'm attaching these PowerPoints so you can not have to have this video on, or you can, whatever you want. But let's read through these just in case I need to cross any out. Sorry, it's kind of janky. This happens when you photocopy a book sometimes. So number 2, this goes on page 7 of your little online notebook. Page 5 should have been the worksheet. Okay, so 5 is the worksheet, 6 is the notes, 7 is this. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to check a notebook. Okay, moving on. 3 years ago, Jerry purchased a condo. This year, his monthly maintenance fee is $13.97. So monthly fee is $13.97. 20% of this fee is for Jerry's property taxes. How much will he pay this year in property taxes? So this is exactly like the first example. Okay. Number 4, Ron has a co-op in Astor Cooperative. The total shares of the cooperative are 40,000 shares. Those are the total. Ron owns 500 shares. What percentage of the co-op does he own? So that's exactly like number 2, where you're going to do example 2, where you're doing part divided by whole, and then don't forget to move your decimal. Okay. Number 5, the Jacobs family owned a condo in Bethpage Acres. They bought it for $130,000 6 years ago and sold it last week for $195,000. Who keeps the profit from the sale? Okay, so think about that. If they owned a condo and then they sold it for more, who gets that money? So you'll notice the profit is $65,000. So that's a good chunk of change, right? Who gets it? Okay, number 7. Linda wants to purchase Leisure Heights condominium apartment. She will borrow $100,000 from a Dutchess Savings Bank. It's offering a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with an APR of 7.1%. Her monthly maintenance fee will be $310. What is the monthly mortgage payment to the nearest cent? So this is review from the mortgages one we did, which was last week's notes. Okay, so if you need to look back at that, that would be on page 1 of your little online learning book. Okay, so mortgage payment And then what's her combined monthly payment? For part B, just once you know the mortgage, you add that fee, and then that will be your combined monthly payment. Okay. And then you do have one more. I should have added those to the last page. So you have 12 and 15. Number 12, monthly rent at the countryside co-ops has increased annually, modeled by the exponential equation y equals 12 times 2,155 times 1.062 to the x minus 1. What was the percent increase per year? So you got to look at this and think about what the percentage was that would have been added in there to get the percent number. Okay, so you got to think a little bit about this one. I believe in you. Look at this. Look at the original formula for it. Okay, you can do it. And then here, number 15. Excuse me, sorry. Number 15, this is actually like the last example we did. Joe wants to rent an apartment where his initial monthly rent is $1,400. He's been told that the landlord raises rent 1.25% each year. Do the equation, and then after you write the equation, tell me what the rent would be after 12 years. Okay, you can tell me the rent for the whole year, and you can tell me the rent per month. Okay, A stands for annual. I don't know. All right, so that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoy your week. Don't forget to do your Flipgrid for me. And yeah, have a great day. Love you guys. Miss you. Bye.